We'll do it. Go. God knows you're not going to let me attack that Lux, so you stay the champion. Good game.
Yeah! Sit back to back! Yeah!
And your winner is still Kaijudo champion Bobby Brake.
What's good, YouTube? I am here with the one, the only, the king of a dead card game, Bobby Brake.
Hello.
You want to introduce yourself?
Well,
Your accolades in the game?
I'm Billy's brother, for those who don't know. Yeah, I was really good at Kaijudo. I won 2 of the 4 championships that there were. I got to design the name of the card and just get really involved and play a lot of tournaments.
What do you feel ended Kaijudo, though?
Money. I don't think they didn't sell like enough product. So, I mean, that was the ultimate reason, but behind that, just it didn't really catch on. Not many people played. I mean, the design of the game was really good. Like, it was one of the most fun games I've ever played in my life. But yeah, it just never caught on, and people just gravitated towards the big 3. So it's hard to start like a new TCG and get to really like catch fire and, but yeah, so mainly just the sales weren't good enough.
So what got you into Kaijudo? Like, Duel Masters was a game before. You kind of ignored it. And what got you into Kaijudo this round?
I have a friend named David who just kept like bugging me saying, you got to play Kaijudo. It's Duel Masters again. He was really big in the Duel Masters. So I was like, sure, I'll give it a shot. So I started playing it when it first came out. But I was mainly into Yu-Gi-Oh at the time. And I sort of backed away from Kaijudo a little bit when it first came out. But then after like the third set came out, I got back into it and I got really heavily into it. I gave up Yu-Gi-Oh and started just focusing on Kaijudo because I felt like I was better at the game. I could see like the strategy more. So that's when I got into Kaijudo.
Tell me about like your first major event in Kaijudo.
My first major event was a KMC, which also was Kaijudo Master Challenge, known as like regionals. So that was at Comic Asylum in Garland, and I made top 8, and I lost to a guy named Joe Bass, who was a Magic player at the time, and he just started playing Kaijudo, and he's like the best Kaijudo player I've ever seen. And that's including myself. He's top notch. So I didn't quite get my invite then, but at the next KMC I went to in Kentucky, I think, I got my invite by making the finals there.
All right, so let's take the journey upwards. When did you feel like you became basically king of this card game?
Well, the first championship didn't feel real when I won that.
Hey Kaijudo fans, this is Kyle Reddish. I'm here at the Kaijudo Championship with first place winner, Bobby Brake. How do you feel?
Really overwhelmed right now.
Are you?
Yeah, no word.
Well, let's get to your deck tech done, and then we'll let you celebrate.
All right.
It just went by like very quickly, and like so when I made top 4 and I won the top 4 match, I realized, oh my gosh, I have a chance of actually winning this thing. It would never like hit me. And then after I won it, I beat my friend Robbie, who is also a really big like Duel Masters player in the first event, and it was a really good game. He's one of my good friends. So that, and I was still like, all right, good. Well, what else can I do now? And then the second event happened, the second championship, and I won that. And after that, I was like, wow, this is what I'm really good at. So after the second one is when it really sank in that this is something I'm proud of.
Let's talk about prizing versus other card games. With this, there's obviously tons of awesome prizes, similar things like these giant cards you have around you, and then different kinds of trophies that I don't think I've seen comparable to other games, although Pokemon's starting to step their game up. What kind of prizes did you win from these championships?
So the regionals, you got the top 8 all got like a really cool laptop bag. I'll show it to you later in the video. But yeah, it was like a $150 laptop bag. I still use the bag to this day after the game being dead for 3 years. It's one of the best bags you can get. And you also got like a lot of product. At the championship, I won an iPad with an engraving of Kaijudo Champion like on the back. I also got to, for winning the first championship, you got to name the card. So I got to work with one of the designers and name a card all to myself. So we got to work on these. work with the designers and make our own cards, and those are actually printed in the game and they were playable. So those are just some of the prizes they gave out. Yeah, we also, like, for the second season and forward, whenever you won a regional, they got a paid flight to the championship.
That's really awesome, just from regionals.
Yeah.
How many regionals were there? Like, and how many?
There's 4 seasons, and there's about 30 to 40 each season.
Wow, that's a lot of pricing for a card game.
Yeah, that's another reason they may have contributed. They may have spent too much on prize support. The prizes were phenomenal, so yeah.
So if you could change anything about Kaijudo from before the end of it, is there anything you would have changed or tried to implement?
I think it was on the uptake at the end. It was already like too late by the time they fixed the problems. Like, because at the beginning, they focused mainly on the kid audience and didn't have really like a competitive mindset. So, but once they realized all the players were all like competitive and they all used to play Duel Masters, they shifted gears and tried to gear towards that. And there was also like a TV show that like no one watched. Sadly, I mean, I watched it because I was a big fan of Kaijudo, but and it was on a channel called The Hub, which isn't even like a network anymore. But it was a nice show. So yeah, I would just change like from the beginning. There was a few like mistakes they made, but they corrected them. They implemented draft. There was a draft of the last championship, and it just was a little too late though.
What's your favorite experiencing, like from traveling all of Kaijudo and all your tournaments? What's your favorite experience that stands out from this game? You can name a few if you have to think yourself.
Favorite experience. Well, probably just sitting down with the designers and like them talking to us and telling us, working with us to design the game and showing us, how things are. Like, we got to play test cards with the designers for cards that aren't going to be out for like months. And that was really cool. They were really, like, the designers and the people who worked on Kaijudo they listened to the players a lot, and the communication was really good. I actually got to write articles for the people who worked on Kaijudo on the Kaijudo main website. So yeah, just the communication was all like my favorite part.
So like the integration that they actually had with the players and like talking to them. It sounds like no other card game really does that so much as they do.
Right, like they did everything right. It just the thing that just never caught on. They didn't get the players they needed. And like you can look at the events. Yeah, the events were kind of small, but the events can still be small. It's just a matter of how many people like buy the product. Because like when you look at Yu-Gi-Oh, you say, oh, the tournament used to make have 1,000 players, now it has 700. The game's dying. No, it's not. As long as the product's selling, it doesn't really matter how many people show up to the tournaments. The companies don't make that much money from tournaments. They don't. They make money from selling the product. And if the product doesn't sell enough, then the game won't exist anymore.
Yeah, for Yu-Gi-Oh, I know they actually take a loss to host like YCS.
Right, that's the thing. When people only view, tournament like. All right, when people only view. The tournament results, the attendance, tournament attendance, that's not what makes a game successful at all. It shows little significance on how successful the game is.
And for those wondering about the background noise, we got fireworks going off here. So
no one's shooting any guns or anything.
Yeah, we're not in a bad area. We swear.
That's fine.
So is there anything you want to specifically say to people who might remember you from the game or remember the game and be watching this that are looking back into the past with you on this game? Is there anything specifically you'd like to say from the bottom of your heart?
Thanks for playing. I appreciate it. It was real fun while it lasted. I still try to play, as often as I can. I have a giant Kaijudo cube. I still enjoy the game. We actually got the next set. We got a disc of it. Then I printed it out and we get to play with the cards that never got to come out. It's kind of sad. I don't even look at it, but I still enjoy it and I play it as often as I can. It's one of the best games I've ever played.
Well, thank you very much, Bobby Break, and I guess that will conclude it unless we think of any other questions to add to this.
All right, bye. And if you want any Kaijudo playmats, hit me up. And as a group, we got to work. I got you.
You're good.
Okay. Anyway, let's get down.
Just let it fall.
Yeah. Okay. So we redo it. Okay.
Yeah, right here. I'm still recording. Just good.
What? Okay. You're still recording?
What?
3, 2, 1.
Now I'm laughing.
I thought it was good. I thought you
Hold on, alright, here we go. Alright.